All right, it is the second weekend in August. We're going to take a quick look at the main garden. So, a little overview. Tomatillos are looking good. Corn's big. Beans are good. Squash is still very prolific as far as the vegetation. I'm pretty prolific with that too. You can see that the tomatoes, the vining tomatoes, are still doing good, forming a nice wall up there. Yeah, so it's most things are still pretty healthy. So let's take a quick look here. So our tomatillos, once again, the tomatillos were late season transplants, and they've done pretty well finally after starting to recover. We've got lots of tomatillos forming. You can see them here, the nice little husk. So hopefully they'll be getting bigger and bigger. Hopefully they're not going to be that small. We'll just have to see. I'm not sure exactly what their size is going to be, but hopefully we'll get some good ones, and then we can have some nice fresh tomatillos for some salsa and stuff like that. And this little guy here, I think these fruits are going to be a lot smaller. We'll just have to see, but they're doing pretty good. Now, the Romas are still not doing very good. We've definitely increased the watering, make sure they're getting a lot more water, but they're just kind of scrunching up here. And so we picked a lot of the fruit to relieve a lot of the stress, but still the leaves are kind of not quite crunchy, but they're leathery and as you can see, curled up and whatnot. So probably going to need to look into that. It doesn't look like they're going to produce much more as things are going. They're going to, they're doing great at putting out what they've got. Here's one new growth. It's the first new growth I've seen in a bit here. So maybe it'll do that. There's one, like a single or a couple flowers there, but just not much. It's like something, I can see a lot of flowers here that didn't get there, and then over there that did not develop. But there's one that did, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe it was just the watering and now it'll come back. I'm not sure, but there's definitely some stuff going on there with its leaves. And so, but see, these ones are okay. So I don't know. We'll just have to see exactly what's going on. Hope for the best there. But we've got lots and lots of tomatoes out of it, so that's important. All right, now here's our red okra. Starting to look good. Looks like probably starting to attract some maybe aphids in there. Not sure, so we'll have to check that out. Get rid of those. But we'll definitely want to keep these guys nice and healthy. You can see their normal green cousins over there, producing a good amount of okra. These guys were quite a few weeks behind before I decided to plant them. But they're coming up. Here's our birdhouse gourd. Once again, planted pretty late because the stuff that we planted in here didn't come up. So we'll see. It's up to here now. So that's good. It's about 3 feet tall. And we'll just have to see how it goes. This next big patch is the green beans, and they are looking very, very prolific as far as the vines go. Once again, vines are great, leaves are great, but I want things to eat, and I don't eat the leaves here. So, waiting for some actual green beans, and for all I know, there might be some in there. They're just going to be very difficult to see, but we're definitely going to see some soon because here's some flowers. And I think basically if I'm guessing, the plant basically starts to grow up as high as it can, and then it starts to shift to, okay, well, I can't really go much further, so I'm going to produce some beans. But that's kind of what we've got going on, is lots of growth. You can see that basically it came up at the top, and the vines kind of have laid over each other and started to form like a mass there, and then they're, like I said, that's been what they're doing. And these vines are very not sticky as that goes, but more like grabby. Every time I touch anything with fabric or they touch whatever, they will grab on just the stems, even the stems themselves, not just the little, because they have, I guess these don't have little tendrils, but the stems have little hairs or fibers or something on it that basically grab on. So whenever it touches something, it just doesn't want to let go. You hear that? Even the leaves, everything's grabbing on, which is what it does since it's the pole bean, it's a climber. But anyway, looking forward to some fruit soon. There's some more flowers. There's some more grabbing me. Anyway, so really excited. about that soon. Then we come over to our other beans. We've got some, our Scarlet Runner beans are looking very pretty there. Finally putting out some flowers. Since we hit August, and especially this past week, it's starting to be a little cooler, more like in the 90s instead of the mid-90s. And I think the beans are definitely appreciative of that. Like me, they don't like the heat very much. And then our other types of beans are still producing quite well. No, once again, still no fruit. These ones don't have any flowers out yet, but they are still growing the vines. And this was the variety that, or these ones, didn't really do well at all last year, even in the semi-shade over here. But we see some good flower clusters there, and hopefully that means we'll be getting some beans and flowers soon. I don't recall if they actually even made anything last year. I don't think so. I think the only thing we got was the Scarlet Runner beans. So we'll have to see how these hyacinth beans go. I'm really looking forward to it. But as you can see, they're not super prolific, at least in this area for when we plant them and stuff, as far as that goes. Where the green beans, these were all planted at the same time. The green beans have formed very dense stuff, and these guys have not quite. But I do believe I planted the green beans a little closer, so maybe that's my point, is I'll plant these guys a little closer next year, get some more stuff in here, and so we'll see how it goes. Alright, back to the tomatoes. So we have our 4 paste tomatoes, and these are looking a bit better. This one's looking good, looking real good. Got some nice healthy leaves, new flowers, new fruit, looking all right. There's a good one right there, nice. But these two right here are kind of the same thing. They're stunted. The leaves are, having that same kind of a curly up thing. So I'm guessing something is definitely going on with them. But they're still continuing to produce, so I'm not going to worry too much about them. And then with our vining ones, they're doing very, very well. And since these guys are stunting out here, I'm just letting them grow up and over here. And we have lots of them here. Not a lot of producers so far, but really good for one plant here. So we got the nice little, you can see the green ones here, little yellow pear. Very delicious, nice and sweet. Then our Juliets are next. So let's see, here's our yellow pear, ripe, getting close to ripe. Here's our Juliets right next to them. They're just like a little grape tomato. Still producing pretty well, lots of flowers. I've had to kind of top them off here to make them stop growing and focus on just finishing this out. These San Marzanos, because the plant was a little much smaller, is still very, we've only got like a couple of fruit off of it, even though we've gotten dozens and dozens off of other ones that were planted at the same time. It's just, I think, because probably I'm guessing the plant itself was behind because it was smaller, but also I'm guessing that the variety itself just takes a little longer to mature. So we'll see. They basically form like small Romas, not the huge ones like we get over there with the full Roma, but something like that. And we'll have to see how the flavor tastes as well. And with our asparagus, I've seen some more rustic yellowing there. And I don't know if that's just because these spears were the first ones up and they're ready to die now, or if there's something going on. I definitely need to make some time to look at that this week. But because it could just be that they only live for so many months before they die, and it might not have anything to do with the temperature. I just need to look into that or see if something really is going on here, because it was this area here that had the damage, or it could be the fact that it's right on the end and I've been walking past it and that's caused some issues. So we'll just have to see. As you can see, the squash still very green, still getting good fruit production out of it. Very surprised I haven't really went in there and hunted for any squash bugs in over 6 weeks, but apparently I got enough of them to let these guys do the thing. So anyway, that thing's super productive. Still getting good fruit. Still a few fruit, not very many from the, so that's the golden zucchini. This is the patty pan sunburst. Getting a few fruit from there, but nowhere near as productive as it was last year. And then the zucchini itself, we have it's definitely still doing really good. I picked one yesterday, and there's one right there, another one on the other side. So nice, good producer still. So still, I'm just very impressed in the almost the middle of August here, and still have zucchini, squash. So it just kind of depends on the year, I guess. Last year we battled so hard and didn't make it past July, and now we didn't fight that hard, and we're in the middle of August. So anyway, sometimes things are just out of your control. All right, so we have our eggplants next. You can see their pretty little flowers here, and the flowers are purple, even though the fruits are green. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize that. They haven't really produced much since they first started producing. It's kind of weird. The late season for here, 3 peppers and an eggplant, we haven't gotten any new fruit from any of them. So hopefully we will soon, but we'll have to see. You can see all the yellow leaves. And these ones might be new fruit. I'm not sure if they were old fruit that I just formed in there. But anyway, this corn, I think definitely I'm going to look into that and see if we can have some of that this week. Should be pretty good there. We'll just have to check it out. The marigolds and the okras and the peppers, the beans, looking pretty good. Our sad little soybeans are still here, with a few guys. These marigolds have really taken over. I don't remember them being quite so dominant as before, but they've kind of crowded out this little banana pepper and that one too, and just swallowed them up. So I'll have to keep that in mind for next year. Our peppers are looking good. The okra, it looks like we have mostly won the battle with the ants and the aphids, because now plants are getting bigger and whatnot. We've always kind of struggled with that. For some reason, the aphids really like the okra, and the ants like to keep the aphids safe so they can produce their little honeydew nectar. So the poblanos are looking nice. I had to redirect the support line for the big gem. The plant is just way too huge to be standing up on its own. And we've got some good peppers there forming. They can get pretty big, so we just need to kind of keep up with that plant and try to keep it up out of the way. The mariachi, still haven't seen any ripe ones on there. It's just still a bunch there, which is kind of weird. Those peppers have been there a long time, but they're just not ripening very quickly on the vine. So we'll have to look into that. So hopefully we'll see some of these late producers or late season transplants produce soon. We pulled up some more of the spring garden. Still have some stuff kicking around. This giant kale or chard here, still looking fantastic. We still have a few beets. Just haven't quite gotten out. So anyway, and then some of our late season transplants over here have produced some new peppers. So we're excited about that. This guy here is one, and this guy here. And one of them's, I think that's a pimento and that's a Pritivit. I'm not sure exactly, but we'll have to see. And we do have some soybeans over here, starting to form a few. Just very, very limited. After planting all those ones, just very few came up, and very few made it this tall. So, but we'll take what we get and see what we can do better next time. So anyway, here's a better look at that big gem and a pepper for stuffing. So excited about those. Yeah, so that's the garden this week. We have still having things we're not used to having, like the squash, and some things are doing better than others, and you just never know what you're going to get with the garden. So anyway, we're just happy that everything's going fairly well, and looking forward to some new harvest soon. Thanks for watching.